Hello dear students, welcome back to our news channel. Students, picture this. You ride your scooty or drive your dad's car to the fuel station. But when you get there, the pump operator scans the number plate and says, sorry, we can't fill fuel in this vehicle. Now that sounds shocking, right? But that's exactly what started happening in Delhi on July 1st this year. So, what is this fuel ban all about? Here's the rule which the government has set that Delhi vehicles older than 10 years and diesel vehicles older than 10 years and petrol vehicles older than 15 years will not be given petrol or diesel at the fuel stations in Delhi anymore. Why? Because they are now officially called end of life vehicles or ELVs, end of life vehicles. ठीक है, तो दिल्ली पहला जगह बन गई है पूरे देश में जो इस रूल को एक्चुअली स्ट्रिक्टर वे में एनफोर्स कर रही हैं बाय डिनाइंग फ्यूल. ओके, सो हु गेव दिस ऑर्डर? ये ऑर्डर दिया किसने है? इट इज गिवन, see, the idea came from a body called the Commission for Air Quality Management. Okay, their job is to protect air quality in Delhi and the National Capital Region, also known as NCR. Okay, तो जो फ्यूल बैन है ये सिर्फ पोल्यूशन को रोकने के लिए नहीं है. इट इज ऑल्सो अबाउट removing older, more polluting vehicles from the road permanently. Okay, and how do they enforce this rule? See, Delhi is using technology to do this. Okay, they are using technology to do this. There are total 498 fuel stations in the city. Okay, so each of them is equipped with something called automatic number plate recognition cameras, ANPR. So the camera, it scans the vehicle's number plate, it checks the number with the national Vahan database, Vahan database se check karta hai, and if the vehicle is too old, it plays a warning sound and the vehicle is not given. ठीक है, तो कैमरा है लगा हुआ है, वहां से स्कैन करना होता है. द कैमरा स्कैन्स व्हीकल नंबर, इट चेक्स दैट with the national database, national Vahan database, and if the vehicle is found too old, then it starts playing a sound. Okay, so these ANPR cameras are even present at the ISBT bus terminals. So isn't it sound something like movie, sci-fi movie, right? Because it is but it actually happening now in our own capital. Okay, so what if someone still gets fuel or avoids getting caught? What happens then? Students, वहाँ पर पूरे enforcement teams are also roaming. Okay, so they come from Delhi's transport department, traffic police and municipal bodies, and they can seize vehicles that break the rule and even send them to a scrap yard. Okay, तो वो उनके पास पार है, उनके पास अथॉरिटी है. But here's the twist. On the first day, they caught 80 vehicles. The next day, just 7. And for 2 days after that, 0 impoundings. So clearly, enforcement isn't easy. And what does the Delhi government say about this? Delhi's Environment Minister, Mr. Gopal Rai, has asked to pause this new rule for now. Why? Because there are, too many technical problems. Some cameras don't work. Some vehicles don't have the high security registration plates. And on top of it, system isn't fully integrated with, nearby states. So people may just go to Noida, Gurugram or Ghaziabad to get fuel. ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि क्योंकि सिर्फ दिल्ली में है ना, तो नोएडा में जाके, गुरुग्राम में जाके, गाजियाबाद जाके फ्यूल उसमें अपने व्हीकल फिल करवाए. सो और उसके साथ साथ पीपल, जो लोग हैं, कॉमन लोग हैं, दे आर कंफ्यूज्ड, दे आर एंग्री एंड द गवर्नमेंट इज reconsidering. Okay, so how many vehicles are affected? In Delhi alone, about 62 lakh vehicles are considered ELVs, end of life vehicles, जिसमें से 41 लाख तो टू व्हीलर ही हैं. ओके, तो बहुत सारे हैं. जस्ट गो थ्रू दिस नंबर, राइट? ओके, बट the question is, why are old vehicles such a big problem? What is the problem with old vehicles? See, students, vehicles made from BS6 emission norms are more polluting. BS stands for Bharat Stage, which is India's system of emission standards. Okay, so BS4 emits 4.5 to 5.5 times more particulate matter than BS6. ओके, तो BS6 स्टैंडर्ड से अब आप सोच रहे हो कि मैम ये क्या है. बेसिकली क्या है, ये स्टैंडर्ड है, क्राइटेरिया है, जिसके अकॉर्डिंग जो डीजल है, पेट्रोल है, वो कितना एमिशन करते हैं, वो स्टैंडर्ड है ये. तो BS6 स्टैंडर्ड से जो पहले पहले व्हीकल्स बने हैं वो बहुत ज़्यादा पोल्यूटिंग है. ओके, जैसे BS4 हो गया. और आपको पता है कि दिल्ली में पोल्यूशन इज वन ऑफ द मेजर प्रॉब्लम, right? So older vehicle equals to major pollution sources. That this is the reason experts believe that removing them is necessary for cleaner air, right? And even the law says, in 2015 National Green Tribunal said, back in 2015 it said that these diesel vehicles over 10 years old and petrol vehicles over 15-year-olds are not allowed on Delhi NCR roads. ओके, तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 2018 में भी ये अग्री किया था, और इसकी चलते काफ़ी सारे जो व्हीकल्स उसको इम्पाउंड भी किया गया था. ठीक है, तो ये सारी चीज़ें हैं कि जो फ्यूल बैन है वो एकदम से कोई सडन नहीं है. काफ़ी टाइम से ही व्हीकल्स को लेके कई कई सारी न्यू न्यू रूल्स आते रहे हैं. राइट, नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज, विल दिस फिक्स दिल्लीज पोल्यूशन? वेल, apart from this, it is not enough. Center for Science and Environment says that this alone policy is not enough. We also need to improve fuel quality. We need to strengthen pollution checks and invest in public transport. So it's not a one step fix, but it's a step in the right direction. Okay. Now, students, let's talk about the next article. Let me ask you something. What if you could speak to an astronaut flying above Earth using just a radio? That sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what happened recently. Our our astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla, who is currently aboard the International Space Station, recently spoke to students in India, in our own country, using something called ham radio. Okay, and the event was organized by ISRO's UR Rao Satellite Center in Bangalore. ओके, तो हैम रेडियो है क्या? व्हाट इज दिस हैम रेडियो? स्टूडेंट्स, ham radio, also known as amateur radio, it's a licensed form of communication that uses radio waves. Okay, it uses radio waves. You might have heard of x-ray gamma waves, right? So similarly, we also have radio waves. Okay, तो ऐसे ही एक पूरा जो इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम है उसमें काफ़ी सारी वेव्स होती हैं. ओके, तो उसमें से ही एक रेडियो वेव्स है. यू माइट हैव हर्ड ऑफ अल्ट्रावायलेट रेज. अल्ट्रावायलेट वेव्स का अपना आपने सुना होगा, है ना? और इंफ्रारेड का नाम सुना होगा, माइक्रोवेव का सुना होगा. ओके, तो उस वैसे ही रेडियो वेव्स ऑल्सो आर देयर. इट इज यूज्ड फॉर कम्युनिकेशन. रेडियो वेव्स आर यूज्ड फॉर कम्युनिकेशन, एंड दिस डिवाइस हैम रेडियो, इट इज यूज्ड फॉर पर्सनल चैट्स. पर्सनल चैट्स के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं. साइंटिफिक एक्सपेरिमेंट्स के लिए यूज करते हैं, इमरजेंसी कम्युनिकेशन के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं, even for recreational activities. And you need a license from the government to operate one. And even a 12-year-old is allowed to get a license to operate ham radio. तो आप भी अप्लाई कर सकते हो. Okay. Now, why is it called ham radio? Well, there's a funny story associated with it. The term ham is actually was originally an insult. The professional telegraph operators used it to mock unskilled or ham-fisted amateurs who messed up communication. But over time, these amateur radio lovers embraced the word and made it their own. So today, ham proudly stands for hobby radio operators. Okay, and how is ham radio used in space? Students, the first instances that where it was used in 1983 by NASA astronauts. Since the year 2000, 2000 से लेकर लेकिन ISS International Space Station has had a special system called ARISS, Amateur Radio on the International Space Station. And astronauts use it to make casual calls to people on Earth and interact with students and schools. Imagine a classroom full of students speaking directly with someone orbiting 400 kilometers above Earth. Right? That's amazing. So how does it actually work? इसमें के पीछे साइंस क्या है? सबसे पहले हमको पता है कि जो इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन है, राइट, इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन, इट ऑर्बिट्स द अर्थ every 90 minutes. Okay, every 90 minutes mein it completes the one round around the earth. So during each passing there's a 9-minute window when the station is overhead. Okay, and that's the golden chance to connect via ham radio. It's all very timed, technical and thrilling, right? तो बहुत सारा उसमें सारी चीज़ें टेक्निकल होती हैं, टाइम्ड के अकॉर्डिंग ये ऑपरेट किया जाता है. नाउ व्हाई इज हैम रेडियो स्टिल इम्पोर्टेंट टुडे? है ना, ये तो ओल्ड फैशन है. हमारे पास तो स्मार्टफोन्स भी हैं, तो ये ओल्ड फैशन रेडियो अभी क्यों यूज़ किया जा रहा है? वेल स्टूडेंट्स, हैम रेडियो इज स्पेशल बिकॉज इट वर्क्स विदाउट द इंटरनेट. इट डजंट नीड सेल टावर्स. है ना, आपको फ़ोन पे बात करने के लिए सेल टावर्स होने चाहिए, पर हैम रेडियो को ज़रूरत नहीं है इसकी. एंड इट इज़ इनक्रेडिबली रिलायबल ड्यूरिंग डिजास्टर्स. जैसे हैम रेडियो को इंडिया में भी यूज़ किया गया था. कब यूज़ किया गया था? ड्यूरिंग 2001 भुज अर्थक्वेक, 2001 का भुज अर्थक्वेक, 2004 का इंडियन ओशन सुनामी, 2013 उत्तराखंड फ्लड्स. So when mobile network fails, ham radio, it saves lives. All right. So, students, that's all for today. If you like this episode, don't forget to share it with your friends, teachers, family. And, students, if you have any question, you can ask me in the comment below. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, keep learning. Bye bye.